is a view of the light, a fire burning through the night. We rise, we shine, we take the fight. A view of the light.
Oh, hello. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Thank you once for joining us once more with Spirit Sessions, A View of the Light. How are you all doing? You can post in the chat there if you like to share. Today, we are honored to have Brooke Ashley join us in conversation. And this conversation is entitled Love Beyond the Veil. So just pardon me while I just read a bit of an introduction. What if love and consciousness don't end, they evolve? Today we welcome Brooke Ashley, Evidential medium and paranormal investigator with Earthly Imprint Paranormal. Brooke shares how she blends spirit, science, and investigation to bring clear, verifiable evidence that our loved ones continue beyond death. This conversation is grounded, honest, and deeply healing, centered on proof, accountability, and compassion rather than performance. Oh, just love that. Love that. And of course, we have dear sweet Rhonda Elliott here. That's also a
Can I
host.
do the land acknowledgement? I forgot.
Yes, let's do that.
I'm sorry. I just thought as we gather here, we take a moment to remember the land we call our home was first occupied by the indigenous people of North America. We seek to learn about past wrongs, act with justice in the present, and pray for a better future together in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. I'd just like to acknowledge our
Beautiful.
ancestors.
Yes, thank you so much. And here is beautiful Brooke Ashley joining us from Washington State, USA. Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. This is going to be a fun time today.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So I read the introduction, but what else would you like our audience to know about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Washington born and raised. I have two incredible parents. I was adopted at the age of 4. I think that my trauma from my childhood probably cracked me open a little bit more than if I hadn't had it, right? So I've always been highly psychic. I've always been a little bit different. I've always been connected to the earth and the elements and always knew that there was something different about me. Luckily, I had a mother, an adoptive mother, who was really aware of that kind of stuff before her time. And she kind of fostered that in me and pushed me into kind of understanding that there's a lot out there that we can't see and connect to, even if we can't see it. So I've always been that way. I went through a lot of traumatic adult stuff as well that just kind of pushed me into this spiritual awakening. And when I went through a full spiritual awakening, it was like a complete fracture. It was really beautiful and honest and amazing. And I decided that I was going to take a mediumship course because I thought there's got to be something more here. And when I took a beginner's mediumship course, it was like 6 years ago, a beginner's mediumship course, turns out I was a medium. I could do it. It's a lot more subtle than people think it is. And I took off from there and I never looked back. So.
Yeah, it's amazing how you realize that, yeah, we can do this too. It's a confidence thing, right? It's building that spiritual muscle and building that trust in ourselves and in spirit. And knowing that it's not just your voice, it's voices you're actually hearing. Awareness.
Trust is the big one, I think. I think if you don't have trust, you got to have it.
I love that.
Yeah, and I really like, Brooke, that you mentioned the word subtle. Often people think it's going to be like fireworks in the sky, and sometimes messages do happen, but it's being calm and still within to allow those whispers to come in.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
I agree.
so
I usually,
subtlety, yeah.
yeah, I usually just kind of explain it like this. Like the spirit world is literally not separate from us, and I think that that's such an interesting way that we've been told that. I'm sure it's for many a reason, in the past to keep us a little bit separated. But I think that how can we not be connected to spirit? We are spirit. That's exactly what we are. So, in my opinion, we are spirit living a human experience. So, how could we not all be already connected to spirit? That's what we are. So, it's like, it's kind of our homeostasis. So
Yes.
everybody is connected to spirit. It's just this kind of like lie that we're not connected to the spirit world. So I feel like it's all around us. You don't have to go somewhere else to like reach it. It's like right there. It's
It's
always
right
right there. It's like switching your frequency. That's really all it is to me.
Just
It's
turning
like,
the dial.
yeah, it's turning the dial, it's switching a frequency. It's very set. It's like, boop, that's how it feels for me. And I always like to tell people we have our senses, right? Seeing, tasting, smelling, hearing, touching, those are our senses. And we have a sixth sense with another like list of senses, which is like our clairaudience, clairvoyance, all of our clairs. It's just an extension of the physical senses. So it's just about switching your frequency to be able to tap in to those extra sixth senses that we all have. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, is this what drives your passion for evidential mediumship? Is your like you're wanting people to know that spirit's just here, not
Yeah.
way up there?
Yeah. I think the biggest question, I've done so many readings, I can't even count what, like 20,000 readings in my career. And if the question I get the most is my loved one with me? Did they see this? I miss them so much. Can you tell them this? And it makes me so sad because they are disconnected from the understanding that their loved one is literally like all in their auric field. Like they're right there. They're not separate. They're not gone. You don't have to call them down or have someone call them down for you for them to be there. They're literally right there. And it makes me sad when I hear people say stuff like that, because I just want them to know, like, you don't need me to tell them how much you love them. They'd rather hear it from you anyway. They're right there.
Mm. Right. And just to help people appreciate that this is a natural skill and ability. It's like I
Mhm.
don't say, "Oh, hi, I'm Teresa. Oh, and by the way, this is my right arm." Like we don't. Not
And I
Right.
can write with
necessary.
it. Yeah.
Oh, and I have a left one too. It kind of, like we are fostered to disconnect from spirit in so many ways, and
Mhm.
without opening up a big box here, but just before we were very earth centered and in the cycles and rhythms and pulses of the seasons of the earth and connecting with the divine mother, then all of a sudden it's divine father, and it like off planet even
Yeah.
off planet, right? So people like yourself, Brooke, are beautiful and exactly what we need today, just to help remind people that everything you need, you already have within you,
Yeah.
right?
That's such a huge message. That's so true. It's so incredibly true. And I think the more that people realize that, the better off we're all going to be.
You are your own guru and you are your own spirit connector, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
can I ask you, Teresa Warren gave me some talking points, so some questions she sent in. What makes evidential mediumship different from intuitive readings? What would you say is the main thing? Because we've heard evidential mediumship, and we assume it means you give us evidence. But
Mhm.
what's the difference really between evidence and
I
intuitive?
would say, like, when we talk about evidential mediumship, and I get this question a lot, what do you mean? What's an evidential medium? I get that from the general public quite a bit. And it's just that breakdown of evidential mediumship is me holding myself accountable for the truth of your connection to your loved one, holding myself accountable for information I should not know as the third party that you can validate. So it's being held accountable for the evidence that's being brought through, being able to be validated or not validated by the sitter, which is the person receiving the reading. And I don't know, when we talk about intuitive readings, I find that intuitive readings are a little more psychic in nature. Right? So you're picking up on stuff maybe in the environment or in the auric field of the person. So not that one is better than the other. They're both incredible. They're just two different things, right? So intuitive readings, for me personally, when I see somebody doing intuitive readings, and maybe I haven't run across everybody who's done it, I'm sure they're all different. I think intuitive readings is a more broad term for what's being done. And I think there's a little more wiggle room for what is brought through and how somebody does it. Whereas evidential mediumship, I believe, has a structure to it, which is, hey, bringing forward evidence and information that that person is going to understand about their loved one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some overlap, like becoming like a hollow bone or a hollow flute, just so not to distort the information, either being received or how it's translated and shared with others. But I remember one person suggested that mediumship is a type of telepathy, and I know that's way oversimplified. Have you heard that before, Brooke?
Yeah.
Or have
I
you-
mean, it depends on the context in which you heard it. So would they have been saying that it's like telepathy, like they're reading the person's mind, or they're
Yes.
reading the spirit? They're reading the person, right?
They're reading the spirit, like the loved one who has passed,
Okay.
like telepathic communication with the deceased. Yeah.
Right. When I think of telepathic communication, to me, it's claircognizance. So it would really just be saying that the person's highly claircognizant and that they use mostly their claircognizance in order to connect. I also feel like it would be another word for trance mediumship, possibly. So if it's like telepathy or maybe channeling in general, because you could use the idea of telepathy for automatic writing. You could use the idea of telepathy for remote viewing, things of that nature. So, yeah.
Yeah, and animal communication with, plants, etc.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But this is part of that's fascinating, interesting. And I think someone like me, I need to know those bits. Then I can let them go and get back into what you're saying. It's subtle, it's simple, right?
It is.
And
It's
just
extremely subtle. And I think that when people realize how subtle it is, I don't think I've known anybody who attempted to do mediumship, students that I have or anything. So when I have students and they connect on that first day, they don't believe me when I tell them you'll be leaving here today having connected to spirit, because they don't understand that it feels like their own daydreams, their own thoughts. They're making it up. That is what it feels like, right? And once they start to get that validation from the sitter, they start to realize, oh, wow, this is what it feels like. Like, this is mediumship. And I think we have such an idea in society. You see people testing mediums all the time. I had it yesterday, someone threw out in the chat, they said, why aren't you getting a name? And so I had to kind of check them and say, like, mediums are listening to spirit. Spirit has not given me a name yet. Like, this person is this woman's loved one, her husband who has passed away. Like, this is not a circus trick for your applause. This is not like, this is someone's loved one. Like, I don't think you get that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to remind people what mediumship actually is, as opposed to what like popular culture kind of shows us mediumship is in that way. Yeah.
Right. It's bringing the heart and the spirit into the center focus of it, right? So it's not only, which is invaluable, communicating with our loved ones in spirit, but also opening up our consciousness to recognize this is natural, this is part of who we are. And maybe that's what, is sort of falling off on the side, and it's all sensationalized, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
So What would you say recently? I know that it's hard because when you've given so many readings and they tend to just kind of disappear into the ether after you've done it, right? That like you can't remember most of them. But there must have been one that's really stuck in your brain. Maybe it's because it was one of your first ones where you truly believed, oh, I can do this. I am a medium. It's this I have this gift. I have the gift of trust, the gift of knowing.
Yeah.
What can you give us a little story? You know, not naming names, of course, but whatever.
Sure. See, for me, they do kind of blend together. And because I'm channeling, I don't always remember everything, but there are some things that stick out. And I would say, like, I've gotten some incredible nuggets of evidence. I love when I get golden nuggets that are just fun and different. I got a guy who was kidnapped by the cartel the other day. And, so when you get something like that, he keeps telling me he's kidnapped. Those are crazy. I think that those are just like wow moments for us as mediums, even like, I can't believe I just heard that, or right. But for me, it's parents who've lost their kids. That's the ones that are the most, and for me, the ones that I seem to get the most are going to be young gentlemen, like teens to early 20s, who have passed away, because I have an 18-year-old son. So I think that I get a lot of that. I think they flock to me because they're like, oh, she's going to get right into the heart of it. She knows me. She understands me. She's got a kid just like me. She's so connected to her son. She'll work for me. She'll know what to do. So I would have to say the hardest ones, or the ones that stick out the most, are going to be the parents who have lost their kiddos, for sure.
Yeah. And likely premature passings, kind of like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you find the parents get a lot of solace knowing that their child's okay, and that, I think we worry so much about our kids when they're just not even in the same province, like beyond just knowing.
We always worry about our kids as parents, that never goes away, for sure. So I do love seeing them being able to hold on to like a golden thread that I know I can tell in their energy field, like something shifted. It's going to help them get through another day, another week, hold on a little tighter. And so I love to see that. They also tend to get highly connected to me. So they'll come back, they'll get more readings, they'll support me in all the other stuff that I'm doing, because they're just so, they feel like just that gratitude for knowing that they're connected to their child, like their child has not left them. They absolutely have not left them. And I get a lot of, not only the kiddos telling me all of these things in their life, so that the parent has some closure on certain things, knows not to feel guilty about certain things, but also what's happened since they passed, so that their parent knows, hey, how would I know that if I wasn't still here? I'm right here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I'm also, listening to you now, Brooke, I'm also considering how helpful it would be for those who have passed, because I think our learning continues whether we're incarnated in a physical body or not, right? They're kind of go to spirit school or whatever you might call it. So it probably helps them on their healing journey and getting to peace, having conversations with the loved ones they left behind. Would you say that is true?
I do believe that that's true. Definitely. I feel like spirit is able to, because look, I don't know if you've ever read this book, but it's called Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani.
Right.
And when she goes to the other side, she's like seeing her brother crying on the way to her. And she's like, I'm right here. Don't be sad. It's okay. It's okay. Right. So I think that it does help the spirit world to be able to have that connector, so that their soul is seeing that their loved one knows that they can still be connected to them. So it's like being able to, because when we go to the other side, I believe all the ego stuff is gone. Like, I just believe that we come to a place of like complete and utter peace. So we aren't as worried, or like, I don't feel like those emotions come with us, like worry. And, those are all, I feel like, human emotions. So it's not that they're worried that I've seen or that they have to get this out in order to like be okay. They want to get it out so that their loved one is going to be okay. They just want them to feel
Ah,
loved, you know? Yeah.
okay.
Or one of your fans or one of your clients, Rachel, says, "How do you know if what you're hearing is actual messages or just brain chatter?" I've had a reading by Brooke, and it was amazing. She knew things that there was in no way she could have known about. So, how do you know? Like, how do you know it's not just your brain chatter, making up a story that should fit the situation?
First of all, thank you, Rachel. That's so sweet. And thank you for letting me read for you and trusting me. But this is what I say because my mentor is a genius and I love her. Her name is Cindy Keza. I absolutely adore her. She says so simply, validation. Burp, period. That's it. That's how you know validation from the person you're getting a reading from, because it is going to sound like chatter. It's going to feel like chatter. It's going to feel like you're making it up. And the only way that you get into a space as a medium is by bringing the information through time and time and time again, putting in hours of work, practice, and getting that validation every single time from your sitter. So it's really the sitter's validation that helps you to trust and know you're not making it up. Yeah.
And you just pretty much have to say what you hear or see. You can't make it into a story, right?
Right.
You can't put that energy into making a story. So it's just pretty much you're reading a book and reading it straight off the pages. You're not putting in
Right.
any of your own commentary, right?
Right. So there's a difference between like getting a piece of information and then embellishing it as a medium from your own, analytical brain, which happens sometimes.
Ego.
You can gain a piece of information and instead of just like blankly handing it as a medium, I think as a well-rounded medium, you go, okay, tell me more about that. And then you dig in with your clairsentience. What does it feel like? Am I getting any other information around it? What words am I hearing? So I might get someone who comes through and says, I take a sense of responsibility for my passing, right? And I'll go, okay, tell me more about that. And then I dig in, oh my gosh, my mom couldn't get to me fast enough. She was trying to get there. She was racing. I know that she was trying to get there. Please tell my mom that I felt her even though she thought I was already gone. I knew that she was there. She cried on my left shoulder. Like, it's about taking a piece of information and then cracking it open by listening, by opening up, by saying, I want to hear more, and honestly being open to whatever comes through. So there are sometimes I find that I see mediumship out there that can be a little surface. Like, I'm going to throw this out and see if it sticks to the wall, and then I'm going to move on. Well, wait. Why are they bringing that up? Or, hey, I know they're telling me they have a sister. Yes, I do. They do have a sister, and then move on. No. Why are they bringing up the sister? What's going on with the sister? So it's about moving with it. So not making up a narrative or putting your own spin on what you're seeing, but asking and then allowing yourself to move into that space with each piece, so you're not missing anything important.
Beautiful. And that like following a thread or like opening a zip drive and staying on one document until you've read it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy. I like that one.
She's
Absolutely. Yeah, because then you get into it gets deeper and deeper, and then at some point it might sort of go off, fractal off into another dimension. And that's, probably a good reminder for all of us to slow down when we try to do this. Not
Yeah.
try to have something new come through every 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
To allow to drop into the space.
Yeah. Because that's where the messages are. That's where the healing is. Me and my friend, Virginia Bellevue, she's an incredible medium. She's one of my best friends in the whole world. And she and I talk about mediumship like every day. It's so nice to have a bestie to just bounce things off of. But we were talking about, we talk about this subject a lot. Of course, I just lost my train of thought. Hey, welcome to my world as a medium. But like following these veins of information, being able to kind of like tap in and come to a space where you are making sure that you're not leaving any stone unturned with mediumship, making sure that you are just like being in a space that's healing, right? So that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the fact that, like, I think she had said she had got like a reading or someone was practicing. I can't remember, but we were talking about the subject of, okay, that's great, but does that heal me? Okay, that's great. Like, yeah, my grandma's kitchen table had a red tablecloth on it, but is that healing me? Do I, or, oh yeah, the china was in the corner, great, but that's not healing to me. That's not important, right?
It's evidence, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right. So if it doesn't come with anything else and it's just like party tricks, like, oh, they had a yellow sweater, their table was in the corner and they had the china, it had blue on it. Okay, well, those things can come in, but what about that? Was like, did she let you play with her china when you were little and like you loved it and you remember that china to this day, and she knows that your mom has it now and you look at it and think of her. So is it healing is what you want to ask yourself when you're doing mediumship, because yeah, you could bring up a bunch of stuff, but if it's not a healing message or there's nothing healing or connecting in it, what's the point? Right.
Right. They could be data points that are nice to know you're, on the right, stream there. But say if it's the red tablecloth, and she's reminding you of that beautiful conversation you had about or whatever, to me, that would be healing, because that brings in the love.
Yeah.
And love is what heals, right?
Yeah. That's the important thing, are the moments, the memories, the shared experiences. Those are really important. Yeah.
So besides practicing with sitters, or now you just, like, you have probably so many clients that you don't have to practice with sitters, you're actually doing clients. What else do you do to strengthen your mediumship? What else is your daily, like, gym routine for mediumship? Like, what's your spirit routine?
I was really heavy when I first started because it's such a broad, big world and there's so much information out there, whether it's misinformation or information that's not quite for you, or it's not one size fits all. I used to meditate a lot to quiet my mind so that I could do this for long periods of time. But I've found, as I've gotten more strong in my mediumship and I've gone through ebbs and flows where I didn't have a teacher that could pull me out of a really bad space, and I had to trust spirit to like bring me through it to the other side, or whatever it is they were trying to teach me in the moment. I don't have as many rituals now. I just kind of, also I feel like, every medium gets ready differently. Some of my clients joke and they call me the Lightning McQueen of mediumship, which means I can tap in like within a half a second and I'm just rattling off information, or, okay, so I have, and I think that came with a lot of trust, a lot of trying different rituals, a lot of going through phases, like doing a lot of mediumship, going out in nature, learning how to ground, because I'm a triple air sign. So I had to learn how to ground. And now it's just stuff that I've practiced so much. I feel like I don't need to have those rituals as often, but it's always good to check your energy centers. And if you feel mucked up or something, to pay attention to that and do what you need to do to kind of clear it out so you can stay level-headed and even keeled, because it's definitely work that can drain your energy and it can make you ungrounded if you're not careful. So yeah.
Keep clear channel.
So grounding. So much comes back to grounding and hydrating. I mean, we're working with crystals, and energy work can be dehydrating for us as well.
Yeah.
So it's self-care, essentially self-care.
Yeah. And whatever that looks like to you, whether it's meditation, taking walks in the park, taking salt baths, whatever it is. It can even be like, cuddling up on the couch and giving yourself a moment with your favorite TV show and like a cocoa or whatever it is to you that puts you back into that kind of grounded space,
Yeah, a stuffy. Holding a stuffy.
Jessica says, being a triple air sign is so much fun. That's Jessica. She's the producer of the Breakthrough Show Network. She's the owner and producer and creator.
Oh my goodness. It's tough. I'll tell you, it's a life in the clouds until you learn how to like bring it back down. It really took me a full-blown spiritual awakening to force me into a space to like, I have to learn how to ground. And it was constant work for me. I'd have to stop and ground, I think like maybe like 7 times a day.
How many shungites did you have in your
Oh my
pocket?
God, so many.
And tourmaline crystal. So all her crystals are black all the way around. And
Love
when I was learning with one of my teachers, they said sometimes all you're doing is grounding a person. And I have clients that I spend most of the session with just grounding them.
Yeah.
I put a black stone on their third eye and one on their heart, and I sit there and ground them because they just need it. And the energy changes and they're good. And that's what they need.
And especially now with all the sun's activity, we got to ground and let whatever kind of flush out, go to the earth and then get, mirror like back out again. We're antennae essentially, right? Electromagnetic beings, and grounding is essential.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, Jessica says 100%, a lot of self-discipline and grounding often. Yeah. It's just remembering. Yeah. The
Brooke,
chocolate is a ground. Anyway.
I'm wondering about, I think the word scientific came out. Is there a way that you balance the spirit of spiritual aspects of what you do with something more scientific, or is that explaining what mediumship actually is with your sitters?
Yeah. I think like when it comes to the scientific, it's interesting to me because I feel like science is constantly explaining what we do. They're just calling it something different,
Absolutely.
Like quantum physics, like give me a break. Like that's science, but then what we do is like, come on now. Yeah, right.
Remember, Leonardo da Vinci was almost, put to death for his beliefs because he was a scientist.
Oh.
So
see, isn't it interesting how that flips now? Now they are the woo-woo. Back in the day, the scientists are the woo-woo, and now science is right and we're crazy. It's like, okay.
I think they realize that it's all one, right? Yep. Everything is energy, and we just come from a different perspective and explain it a different way, or are just seeing the different side of the rainbow than they are, really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the most brilliant minds have been saying it from day one. Nikola Tesla, a lot of them. So, crystals are energy. Energy is all around. I mean, there's so many brilliant minds who talk about the fact that like once you understand energy, you'll understand everything else,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's different frameworks or structures to understand, the universe as we experience it. Like some say we come first and then consciousness. Other beliefs are consciousness is first that creates us. Right?
Yeah.
So an animated animistic view of the universe that everything has consciousness. So say if it's a rock, it might be slower than us, but it's still present.
Yeah. Agreed. Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, why else would we put like, diamonds in like watches or, what I mean? Like there's a reason.
If a crystal under pressure, like a quartz crystal under pressure, creates piezoelectricity. So now they're trying to figure out how to use that property. Things we've always known that these are special crystals and they do things. They're trying to figure out other ways to figure out, I should say, relearn how to use them.
Yeah.
Relearn how to use them.
Yep.
We've always known that the dilithium crystals could power the Star Trek Enterprise, but anyway. So, Brooke, I know. So, Brooke, you are a paranormal investigator as well. And it made me think of what Teresa was saying, that when you're in spirit, you sometimes are desperately trying to connect with your loved ones who have put up that block, or maybe don't understand what the signs that they're being given. And so they have to get really noisy, or they have to get themselves so they can communicate with the living again. So is that what you're finding when you're doing paranormal investigations, that really they're not haunting us, they're just trying to be heard?
Yeah, I agree with that's part of it. I feel like my ideas of what a haunting is might be a lot different than other people's. So my idea of people say, like, how can you believe no spirit or no spirit is stuck and still believe in a haunting or a ghost? And this is how I put it, right? I believe that this is one thing that my mentor says that I highly agree with. And it's that the soul is so massive. I don't believe it's all in one place at once. I don't even believe our own soul is in our body here where we're in the physical world. It's just a piece of it, right? So what can happen when we pass away tragically, unexpectedly, or there's still unfinished business is a tiny little fragmented piece of the soul can stay behind to kind of justify or fix or until it's ready. And once that tiny little fragmented piece of the soul is ready, then it can reintegrate with the whole soul. But before that, it can look like a haunting because it is a part of the person. It's a piece of the person, which then is going to, if it's an intelligent haunt, it's going to read as that person. So someone can misinterpret that whole soul or that person being stuck because that piece of energy is acting as the person that it was when it was here in the physical world, even though they've gone to the other side. It's a fragmented
Is that
piece.
what they call fractals? Is that what a fractal is? Because you hear people, but they don't really explain what a fractal is.
Right. So it's just like a fragmented piece of the soul. I also believe that we can pour so much energy into a space. We see it all the time with PK energy. We see how powerful we are. We see how our energy can leave an imprint. So we have things like psychic imprints that can replay on a loop, which is what we call residual energy. But I also believe that someone can pour so much energy into a space through the emotion that they can create what we call an egregore or a tulpa of themselves that can then haunt the space as though it is that person, because it's the energy they're pouring into a space to create an egregore or a tulpa. There's two names for it. I'm sure there's many more names for it, and then that egregore becomes its own thing from that person pouring the energy into the space, and then looks and acts and sounds like the person it came from, even though it's an egregore. Yeah.
So Jessica said, interesting that it makes sense. It reminds me of a concept of the Horrocks in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Would
that also an example of that be when people see like the visitation of Mother Mary frequently in spaces on the planet, that this, we're adding the energy to it, so it helps set it up for success, for replication of that. Is that what you're a tulpa? Yeah. I've never heard that word before.
Yeah. So think if someone keeps going into like, Waverly Hills, right? And everybody that goes in there is like, oh, it's so terrible. We're going to find a demon. We're going to find horrible, evil spirits and tortured souls. And they're coming in there with their intention. They're pouring it into the space over and over, thousands of people who come through Waverly. And then all of a sudden the owner has a problem because they've got a wall crawler or like a black shadow crawler figure. And they call it like the crawler. And it's like crawling on the ceilings and you see the shadow and people are being pushed or shoved or whatever. And what it can be is literally all these people come in with their intentions. They're pouring this negative idea or negative intentions into the space. And now all that energy combined has now created an energy that turns into its own entity and now is acting as an individual ghost or haunting, an individual being. It literally takes a form from all of this poured in energy and becomes what people are saying is in the space. Thoughts
are energy, right? Thoughts are energy. So that makes sense. Conversely, like the healing waters of different places where it was just waters that maybe somebody was healed, but then so many people have come with the desire, hope, and intention of being healed when they touch the waters that they are.
Yeah. Another good example of that is I was watching a podcast with my mentor. I think she was with her friend Jack doing a podcast, and she was talking about stigmata and how stigmata used to be in the palms of the hands, and people would get the stigmata in the palms of the hands. And then when we realized, or science realized, that couldn't have been possible, it had to have been like through the wrist, or it wouldn't have held the body weight. People would start to get stigmata in the wrists instead of in the palms.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
interesting.
right? Is it the mind? Are we so powerful that we are creating everything? Like, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about way back in the day when the Spaniards sailed to the New World. Apparently, the local indigenous people couldn't see the ships. They were not wired to see them, so they were floating on the ocean where you and I could see them easily, but
Yep.
they couldn't perceive them. Kind
Yeah,
of like
I've heard that.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And like how this apparent new color came through. That's all to say a type of green, right? Well, it begs the question, did the color come through first, or did our consciousness expand to the point as Homo sapiens that we could actually finally perceive that color?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's a bit of a rabbit hole, kind of incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it also leans to the idea of our own reality, like how maybe what someone else is perceiving is not what I'm perceiving. I've been able to let a lot of things go and not take things personal anymore with people like screwing me over, or they're, like being like awful to me, or they, I just feel like, why would they do that to me? Or why are they acting different? Or why did this fall apart, or this friendship, or, and I've come to the realization that maybe like my reality is mine, and whatever's going on with them and what they're saying is true. Like it happened for them in their reality. And maybe what happened to me, is only my reality. So maybe they're not lying. Maybe we all live our own reality, and like none of us are like lying about what we perceive happened in the situation. Even if someone's like, you did this, I'm like, no, I didn't. I wasn't even there. Well, I don't know. Do we all have our own matrix? Like maybe they're not. So I don't take anything personal anymore. I just go, okay, well, that's your reality. This is mine. And then we'll just part ways. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and this edges up to the Mandela effect too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those who may not know, it was coined because of Nelson Mandela. And when he was jailed during the apartheid years, well, you know what I mean, like during that time period in South African history, some of the population thought that he died in jail. Me Other
Me
people
too.
thought, well, no, he got released and he lived for years afterwards. And there's a whole bunch of examples of this, like Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. I remember it. It's a box with red with that little, thing on the top there. Apparently that never existed, and Stouffer's never made that. So these could be timelines, and that's one example of a fractal, perhaps. Where say if you had a disagreement with someone, there's a little bifurcation there, but they're both equally valid.
Yeah.
It's driving me crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, so where are we on this timeline today? Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, let's make it go away. I love that.
It's too much.
It's too much. Oh, sorry.
Oh, this is fascinating, but there's a question that keeps coming up about mediumship. Do you guys mind if I kind of go back a little bit?
Oh, you go back, Teresa. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you for this. Brooke, do people ever ask you to do readings for the dearly departed companion animals?
They ask, but I don't do them because that is one thing I never trained in. I have some colleagues that are fantastic animal communicators, And it's just not something I trained in. And I'm very big on not just doing something that I haven't been trained in, So I always just outsource it to one of my colleagues until I take some courses and decide. I always said, I'm going to focus on evidential mediumship this way because I wanted to be, I say this all the time. I didn't want to be like a jack of all trades, a master of none. So I just, exactly. So I just stuck with that. And now I feel ready to branch out. I'm actually in a class right now, actually in a couple hours from now, with Tamara J. Scott. And she's been working with missing mediumship inside of missing persons cases for 20 years. And she's brilliant. She has helped solve some very high profile cases that she doesn't talk about because she's bound by contract or bound by, she doesn't want anything.
Like Carol Davis. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can get stuff can get overturned if they find out that somebody used a medium to get the information. So she's very hush hush about that. Yeah. It depends on like the jurisdiction and stuff. So, but she is brilliant. And I just decided to take the leap because I feel so strong inside of my evidential mediumship that I'm ready to add something new. So I'm taking this mediumship inside of missing persons cases course. And maybe after that, I'll add animal communication to that.
Well, and I think that it's a calling too, right? I think some people are just more wired to animals than others. Like, yeah. And I think it's a whole different way of communicating with animals than it is with people.
Yeah.
They talk different.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And thank you for your professional integrity, Brooke.
Oh, thank you. Of course.
For, like staying with what you know and really building that to a degree of mastery, right?
Yeah.
To a degree of mastery instead of just, I'll give that a whirl. Right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And congratulations on this new training to help, I'm sure, bring clarity to situations full of confusion and unknowns. And even if it's creating breadcrumbs or dropping in validation for, say, the investigators or for the family.
Sadly,
Wow.
like there's not enough people out there to help heal the world. And if you're going to help heal the world, thank you.
Wow.
So that's ways to heal them.
Yeah. Thank you so
What
much.
a beautiful path of service. What a beautiful path of
I love it. I love every minute of it. It doesn't feel like work at all. I don't think I feel like what a blessing that I wasn't expecting. I feel like I got just smacked with it to be able to spend every single day doing something that I adore and does not feel like work. And I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Yeah.
Brooke, before we go, can you tell us like what's new coming up? Do you have some classes for people? Do you just just tell us how people can find you and do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have this week, I'm starting up a few things. I have a gallery reading with my colleague, Virginia Bellevue, on Zoom on Wednesday. You can find that on my website to sign up for that. I think we have 4 spots left. Thursday is going to start my Aura Reading 101 course. So I will be teaching people how to read the auras. You don't have to have any understanding of mediumship to do that. It's psychic work, and we could start from square one. So I have that course starting this Thursday. I also have a 4-week beginner's mediumship course. It's for anywhere from beginner to intermediate. That starts on Friday, and that's a 4-week course. I'll also be traveling all around the country so far this year. So you could find me in Oregon in the end of March for the Oregon Ghost Conference. You could find me in Washington for my conference that I'm putting on this year. It's the very first Olympic Paranormal Sci-Fest in Quilcene, Washington. You can find me at the WashU Convention, WashUCon in Virginia City, Nevada in April. I'm hoping to be in Texas with my friend Virginia doing a gallery reading sometime this summer. I still have yet to figure out the date, but you can also find me in Berlin, Wisconsin at the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference, the beginning of September, and then the Boyd Paranormal Convention in Minnesota, the end of September. So I know that those are locked in right now. You can also find me on my Facebook page, Mediumship with Brooke Ashley. You can also find me on anything under the name of Earthly Imprint Paranormal. And my website is mediumbrookeashley.com. So
that's awesome. And so you're a lot of these things are all attached, like your main websites and socials are attached to this video or podcast, which however you're consuming this today, and we can go back to it. So Teresa, did you, I can give the announcements. I guess I should do the card for today.
Sure. And Brooke, I might check out your aura reading course.
Yeah,
that would be so fun. I would love to have you. I love teaching. Love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I think you make a brilliant teacher, either, in group or one-on-one. You're clearly passionate and you have such a great, clear energy field that that to me means you're able to meet people where they are. to help get them what it is that they need, what they're looking for. So,
Maybe I should, because they mentioned it in church today. Our lay reader, or our person that's speaking, said she doesn't tell everybody because people look at her weird, that she can see auras sometimes.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's so weird. It gives me a spirit.
There's
no coincidence.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know, I posted in the chat. If you wanted to subscribe to our newsletter, just hit on that. It says the word sender, etc., and just enter your name, email address, and you'll be able to get weekly updates for easy one-click access to all of our shows moving forward with, little blurbs on who we're having and a sentence or two on what we could be conversing about. And of course, please remember to like and subscribe our YouTube to build our numbers up. Thank you.
Yes, please. It always helps us attract great guests. I mean, I'm glad we have hooked up with Michelle, and she brings us wonderful guests like Brooke Ashley. So I'm so
Michelle's wonderful. Love her.
I love Michelle. I love Michelle. So today I took Wisdom of the Elders Oracle from Sean Leonard, another medium, a medium up here in Canada, and the card I pulled was Cedar Sacred Medicine Protection. And what I like about this, with the world gone crazy everywhere, as the way the news predicts it, portrays it, I don't think it's as crazy all. I mean, there's terrible things going on, but I don't think it's all as awful as they portray it. So that's my matrix. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we sit back and say, well, what can we do? We can't do anything, but that's not right. We can always pray. And it says, prayers are always heard and they are often answered, but you have to take the first step and ask. If either you or someone you love has been dealing with health issues or emotional stressors connected to heartache, this might be a gentle nudge from spirit to utilize the power of the sacred cedar medicine and trust that it is healing is possible. I don't know if you've ever had a cup of cedar tea, but it's delicious and it's very healing. So maybe go out and make yourself a cup of cedar tea, say a few prayers for yourself and for the world, and see what changes.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing that card.
Yeah, I love Sean, and I get to see him on Tuesday, so I'm so excited.
Oh.
So that's with Maria. She's having me guest host on her podcast. So I'm excited to meet Sean again. He's been on our show in the past as well. So there is, next week, we have an amazing Arcturian story from the experience of our guest, Vivian Chauvet. I hope I'm saying that. Chauvet. Sorry. Chauvet. So that will be exciting. I'm so hope you can come back again, and hope when your move to Minnesota goes really well, and I hope it's not cold by the time you get there.
Oh, wow.
It's warming up here.
I like it. That's good.
Oh, and Jessica wanted to put in her ad, you can't convince me that the Fruit of the Loom didn't have the cornucopia. I'm with you on that one, Jessica, too.
The Mandela effect.
Yeah, it had that. I remember.
And thanks to people who save clothes for like 40 years because they were able to prove it. So
yeah, the other things you can't really prove, but the Bernstein, it was the Bernstein bears, and I know I can see it in my mind, but I don't know. It must have been I'm just hoping that whatever shifted that time, it's a better future for us, and I am confident that that's why it shifted, because the timeline and the consciousness has raised so much that it shifted us to a better and more positive timeline that we might have had under the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia.
Yeah. Art elevation. Yes.
Yes. Elevation.
Yes.
Thank you all for enjoying us. We may have been cut off on Facebook, but remember, you can go to the YouTube and see the whole show. I got an error message halfway through this program that Facebook might have cut off, but the YouTube is there all the time. You can watch it anytime and rewatch it as you like and get all the information the same there. And later on, I will have this posted to our podcast, and you can find that on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you all. And thank you again, Brooke, for coming
Thank
by.
you, Brooke.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
so much for your precious time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. I'm going to hit the end button, stay just afterwards, and we'll chat for a second.
Bye.
This is a view